blankets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Matt.
It's a rainy day. Listen, we're jumping straight in from quite often we'll switch subjects as soon as we start the show from what we were talking about before, but we're going to continue this discussion. We were just having a discussion about, and chat just straight away, just get your coffee ready. We're jumping in this morning.
Palladium futures?
Matt, tell them.
No, they're up.
They're up. And I haven't looked at gold, but I bet it's up.
It's up.
Yeah. And we were talking about people, we were talking about this with nationalities, but let's keep it to America. There are different personalities as a people where you're like, they're known for being kind or they're known for being mean. But then there's ones that are like, they're known for being kind, but they're actually mean. And they're known for being nice, but they're actually, or known for being mean, but they're actually kind.
Yeah.
Let's go through this real quick. And chat, please jump in. When you think Americans who have a persona of being mean, but they're actually nice, what group, like, I'm not saying color of skin. I'm talking about like state. Side note, lest we...
You're talking about geographic
location,
geographic cultures.
Yes, because I started this conversation by asking Matt this morning, I don't know much about Indiana. Does it have free speech? And he said, yes, they do. And so that's something I didn't know. I was excited to learn. I was homeschooled. So
here's one. We could come out hot. Southerners in general, hospitality. Is it real? Is it surface level? What about bless your heart?
I'm going to ask Dan, because Dan is a Chicagoan through and through, and he came down here to the South, to God's country, and I want to hear what his thought is. Are Southerners actually nice?
All right.
We're getting serious.
As soon as you start with, all right.
Here's the thing. Southerners are very nice. Open the door. Good morning. All that. Here's the difference between Chicagoans and the South. The Southerners, right away, good morning, go before me. If you're in the Panera line, hey, go before me. All of that. If you try to take that good morning, right, and say, maybe go to the next base, talk a little more, right? They're not ready for that, right? They're not ready. Chicago's different. You could be in line, a guy could cut you in line in coffee. Next thing you know, you're talking about, I mean, but here's the thing with Chicago, whether you want to know it or not, someone might tell you about their kids. You might get in line. So you'll get into it a little more. I mean, I used to see, you'd go outside, like in Chicago, the Chicago Options Exchange building had a no smoking policy. So it was almost humorous to me to see it'd be 20 below zero, but smokers, if you normally get your smoke at 10-20, you're going to get your smoke. It doesn't matter if there's earthquakes out there. And people would just be, within 5-6 minutes, you knew the person. So, I mean, it's quicker to kind of get into it, but it's not so much, I mean, they'll say hello to you on the street. It's not like, it's not like other places. So it's, and I don't know, Troy, you're a true Southerner. How would you describe that? They're very nice people. It just takes maybe a while, or what? How would you describe that? Whereas Chicagoans, you could be, honestly, same in San Francisco or any big city. I remember when we were in San Francisco, Troy, when I was taking the train to there. I couldn't figure out how to do that pass. The train pass.
Yeah.
A lady helped me. We got on the train. We sat next to a guy that looked like Sam Bankston. Remember him? Who's in crypto guy? The three of us for 15 minutes. At the end, I was ready to go out to lunch.
I love you, brother.
We were best friends.
Yeah.
We were best friends. And I'm like, we can't just stop this here. I mean, where do we go next? where do we go next? But how would you describe the not a contradiction, but a little different style in the South, where polite as can be, but I'm not ready to start talking about the kids and all that.
Well, I like the Apostle Paul, and this is the only way I'm like the Apostle Paul. I try to use both citizenships. You'll have to read the story in the New Testament about that, but I am from Texas, and I use that to my advantage depending on the situation. Because in Texas, the thing is, you ask a Texan a question, and they'll either tell you yes or they'll kill you. Like there's a little bit more straightforward. They still have the Southern stuff, but like there's a little bit of desert rodeo cowboy in Texas. The Tennessee, I mean the South, they will cripple you with kindness.
Cripple you.
But this is the way I look at it. They actually want to cripple you. And
this has kind of been my feeling as well sometimes.
So we have the way I look at it is there's a common dictionary of things you grew up saying. So you say, you say, yes, ma'am, no, sir. There's a politeness that you culturally hold on to. Like in the South, we know how to talk to older people, blah, blah, blah. Personally, I mean, the Southerners, speaking against the people here a little bit, Southerners also will cling to rights in a way that's like not great for like communal, like community living, where it's just like, hey, this is about my thing. They're pretty selfish, I guess what I'm saying. Not overall. These are all giant stereotypes.
Yeah.
But,
this feels like it's about to translate into the Civil War moment, the Civil War fact of the day, Troy.
Well,
we could bring the Civil War in if we have to.
Matt, I was wondering about this. Is there any precedent for that, or is there any like history that goes to that? Matt, who reads Civil War books,
I think this is a separate podcast.
Oh yeah, well, anyway,
the Palladium podcast.
Yeah, that's right. But I think Southerners, I think they have a language of kindness, but I don't think they're kind, and I don't think they're meaner than everybody else. I think that just the language confuses people. They don't realize that it's actually they're actually just as whatever Americans are as all other Americans. They just have we have a cultural, and some people love that. I mean, some people are like, I mean, assuming we're all bad, yeah, as long as you say yes, ma'am, or no, sir, that's an addition. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
So, but listen, I mean, New Yorkers. Someone said, Dan, I think you said New Yorkers. I have found New Yorkers to be very nice, but you have to get past that they don't have a cultural veneer, or their cultural veneer is like F you.
Oh yeah, I mean, in the mornings, because most of the options back then were traded on multiple exchanges. They still are, right? But so you'd have San Francisco Exchange and New York. Well, San Francisco, when the market opened at 8:30 Central, they weren't really that energetic. It's like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
New Yorkers, it was 9:30. They've had a couple cups of coffee. They're like, yelling into the phone at 8:30. We're just talking civilities kind of thing. Like, how's the market doing? What kind of order flow do you have? And I'm like, tone it. And I used to take the phone and move it a little bit. And I'm kind of loud. And I would move the phone, and they're like, have a great effing day. It was just like, it was just like, wow, you came off the phone. But I loved them. I mean,
that to me, what's
New
funny
Yorkers are great because you know where you stay. It's like Chicago; it's a major city, but they're just even more.
Yes.
I mean, if you really want to go into a town, in my opinion, and feel welcome or get to talk to people, New York. I mean, they will,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but you got to be, you can't have a, what's the word? Thick skin?
Thin skin.
Thin skin. That's it.
Yeah.
Thin skin.
No, I mean, I think that's right. As I get older, I appreciate honest talk. And I feel like New Yorkers just get to the point. And I like that.
Maybe too quick.
Yeah, a little quick. Maybe
they got stuff to do.
They got stuff to do.
They're trying to go find a piece of grass to touch.
They're trying to get the
There's
pizza
none.
pie.
Pizza pie.
They just want to. They want to look at a live tree. There
That's
aren't
right.
any in the city. They're in a hurry to go find one.
Well, here's the thing that always is shocking to me. I mean, when I go to New York, like Central Park is like something about the way that is. Central Park feels like it's 400 miles long to me.
It is. It does look huge. I think.
It is
I mean,
very big.
it is huge.
It is very big. And
How
so
many acres would you say it is? What are we talking?
You can-
Oh, it's-
don't
I
know.
mean-
we can Google this. It's huge.
It's more
though.
than you think. Like if you look at New York, a map in New York, a large, I mean, not the majority, but like a large part of it is Central Park.
It's 843 acres. Yeah, it's
Oh
2.5
my
miles
goodness.
long.
I did not know. I didn't know it was
Yeah.
that big. Okay.
Yeah, it's big.
They just
So-
decided anything that's green in the city, we're
Call it
going to move it to Central Park. Everywhere else, concrete. It's all in Central Park.
It's
The
awesome.
only place you can see a tree or touch
It's absolutely
grass.
true. It's absolutely true. So anyway, so I would say New Yorkers win today. I listen. One of my best friends is from Portland, and I can say this with all honesty: Washington, Portland, those guys are sick, insane. Like
They're
I
weird.
don't.
Keep Portland
Yeah.
weird.
It is a weird place, full of very weird people. And if you're from Washington or Oregon, congratulations on the beautiful scenery. You guys are insane. I don't know how to relate to you at all.
I don't know how to relate to you.
Yeah. So anyway, on that note, we have a big announcement, and the big announcement is that everything Dan just said about Chicago, I'm going to get to experience firsthand next week. Dan and I are going to Chicago for a very special interview that we will talk about soon. We'll be interviewing
my.
someone and putting it on
Okay.
the OO channel. And in that, I told Dan yesterday, this all came together really fast. I told Dan yesterday, this is once in a lifetime for me. I remember working next to Rusty, 4 feet from Rusty, and looking up the Sheridan Chicago option seminar. And we wanted to go to it. I wanted to go to it, but I didn't have enough money to. I was a brand new, kind of new jobish, and young kids, and I was like, I just can't do it. I was telling my wife yesterday, like, I cannot believe I'm going to be in Chicago with Dan Sheridan. And so I asked Dan, I was like, Dan, I'm about to fanboy you to death for the next 2 days. So we're going to take a tour. Dan, if it's okay, I would love to take a tour of CBOE. And we're going to do a little video about like days at the pits and go through it. And you just talk about a morning, just walk around, show me the cigar shop.
Tom won't be able to take it. All the pit stuff that we'll be going through.
Oh, Tom Lee, this video, I'm just going to call this video to Tom Lee from Option Omega. So I asked him to take me to a really good Italian restaurant, and then I threw a curveball just to see.
He did throw a curveball, but it was okay.
Because I figured that might not be the normal haunts of where you're going. But I said, I want to go to a place with squid ink. I've had squid ink pasta once, and I loved it.
Sounds dangerous.
Oh, yeah. And I want to, it sounds like a spy novel, and I want to have that again. And Chicago has like 40 places that have squid ink.
But more important, Matt, in Chicago, one of the places on the tour will be, they have a legend in the Chicago Board of Trade building, which is right in front of the Chicago Board Options Exchange. One of the more legendary cigar shops in the city of Chicago. It's been there, and Troy, you've never been in there, am I correct? Or you have?
I tried to find it, and I couldn't find it. I was with Melissa, and she was like, please, can we do stuff romantic? And I was like, shut up. I'm trying to find the cigar shop.
You're like, I'm working on that.
Yeah, I'm
We're gonna
working
go
on this.
smoke.
Yeah. What do you want from me? Anyway.
So that would be the two places that I thought of, and they're both in the Chicago Board of Trade. One is the cigar, which is just iconic. All the traders in there, they come after their breaks and they'll have their cigar. But the other one is, I want you to think about this a second. It's called the Series Cafe. It's in the Chicago Board of Trade. The way they advertise, if you look online and the way they advertise themselves, right? And this is where all the traders will go for breakfast and stuff. The strongest drinks in the city. That tells you, right? I mean, they have a very good breakfast, but can you imagine that advertisement? The strongest drinks. And so it must get the traders in there for
the really good days or the really bad days.
Well, it's still, man, it's just an unbelievable experience to go there at 9 o'clock in the morning for breakfast. And there's not an open bar seat at 9 in the morning. And they're not sipping juice at there, getting ready for the 9:30 opening of soybeans in the Chicago Board of Trade. Because I think the beans open at 9:30 and the wheat. So those guys, that's how they prep. And they don't even make it 4 hours. They only go till 1:30. They'll take a break between those 4 hours, come back, have another one, then go there. So it's I'm not sure if the lifestyle's getting healthier. I suspect it really
I have to imagine. Well, I'll be interested to see. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll have to check that.
Yeah. And then the follow-up is I asked Dan, I was sitting here and I was thinking, what are all the things that if I could get Dan Sheridan to do with me in Chicago? Obviously, if we had more time, this is a kind of quick trip, a boat ride, a narrated tour.
Oh, those are phenomenal. The architecture, those are beautiful.
But I'm also introverted, so I'm trying to plan at least 2 hours at the hotel by myself.
Yes.
To just sit in a corner. But the final night, I asked Dan yesterday, I said, listen, do you want to go to a preseason Chicago Bulls game? And Dan said, yes, I do. So we're going to go to Chicago Bulls preseason game. I've never been to an NBA game.
Who are they playing?
They're playing Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert.
Go Bulls. Go Bulls.
Go
Viva la French.
Viva la French. That's right. So I'm really excited about that. We got good seats. I'm pumped about it. I think it's going to be a trip to remember. And the OO channel for the next week after that will just be pictures of my Chicago trip. And
he'll come back with the beloved Chicago Cubs hat.
Well, I told Dan. So the other thing is, I said, he mentioned, he said, hey, maybe we could do something about Cubbies because I'm staying close to the Wrigley. And I said, I started looking it up. I was like, because they haven't released don't know if you're playing yet. But I was looking at what the prices were for the next home game. I mean, $2,000 to $5,000 is what I saw.
There's
a lot of $2,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate thing, they're playing the Milwaukee Brewers now. They've lost the first 2 games of the series, so they could be done this weekend if they continue their Milwaukee's a very good team. But they really rally behind the Cubs because they don't get there that often. It's not a big thing. So anyways.
Well, listen, it's going to be a triple lockdown, and it's not just for me. We're going to bring you back some interesting content, I think. So,
and Troy will be bringing his bulletproof vest, Matt.
There it is,
Chicago. So he'll be ready.
Ready.
Oh, listen. I've gone to Chicago a bunch, and everyone always says like, "Hey, my grandparents. I love my grandparents so much. They'd be really careful." I'd say that where I'm going. Chicago is funny because when people say violence in Chicago, they mean one area of Chicago. Let's just be honest. Like they mean one area of Chicago.
Most places are like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's
localized.
That's not where I'm going. That's not where we're going. Well, Lincoln Park.
That might be better video. That might be, people might want to see that content though.
Well, listen, if you want, hey, smash that like and subscribe. If you want me to walk around at night with my weighted vest that looks like a bulletproof vest with no shirt underneath and a White Sox hat, hit that like and subscribe and leave it in the comments.
He might be doing that alone.
Right,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
West side of Chicago.
2 weeks from now, you two just having to be like, man, hey, he was brave. We'll always remember him.
He was a wonderful guy.
Yeah. He was a wonderful guy. Anyway, it was a really funny joke, and I maintained that he should have done it, and I thought it was good. We need to take care of his kids now because of the decision. But anyway,
let's show some back tests.
Wow.
Oh, you want to show back tests? How about we show some back tests, Matt? Well, let's go here. let me do this real quick. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Nebby.
Nebby.
Shout out Nebby. I don't know if this is Nebby's first time in the fray, but it's a great first stab at it, Nebby. So shout out Nebby. This is Nebby's low side orb. If you remember yesterday, we took Alston T's low side orb and we turned it into the Q's, and Nebby has continued that journey. Matt, what are we looking at?
I mean, this looks like a pretty similar setup. It's basically selling vol on a low orb breakdown, and the time floats. It hasn't happened a lot in 3 years, considering it could potentially happen every day. But the requirements are a breakdown, so an opening range breakout, but to the bottom, and the VIX overnight move down max is 0.1%, and then there's no other requirements. So it's on Qs. Same discussion we had yesterday about like keep in mind just American style versus European style options, early assignment, cash settle versus exercise. But this one is getting out. This one is getting out before the close as well. So it's squeezing the juice until 355.
Let's stop right there, Matt. I saw a good video yesterday that's not publicly listed yet.
Oh, okay.
Can you explain real quick? And Dan, you can do this as well. What is the difference for those new to listening? When we're throwing around terms, what do these terms mean?
So probably the most common ticker in our community is SPX, and SPX is a cash settled instrument. So if you hold it through expiration, the difference of whatever the contract was up or down or spread was up or down will be debited or credited to cash. And the most trading instruments that people will trade in general, most are not like that. Most of them can be exercised. So buying a single contract of Qs, even though that contract may be 20 cents, that could be $60,000 worth of notional, because as people know, one contract is 100 shares, and those shares can be assigned. So when you're doing something like a fly, any sort of spread, condors, even calendars, those options on the Qs, the assignment and exercise can happen anytime. In a multi-day trade, it doesn't have to be at the end of the trade. And what happens on 0 days when people trade them, sometimes the brokers, depending on the account size and the number of contracts, sometimes the brokers will close those on behalf of the user, depending, again, how deep in the money, what the risk profile is. And that varies by broker. So
what I like about Troy, Matt, I mean, for a small account, this is wonderful. I mean, what's the margin on this, or your capital required per trade is basically nothing, right?
Yeah.
You're doing a 5 wide iron butterfly. I mean, you're bringing in a credit of $1.60, $4 of, so your margin on this trade could be around $350 or less, correct? I mean, so it's nice. I mean, you still want, I don't want to say do a trade because it doesn't cost you much. You still want to do a trade because it tests well. You have a decent plan, and again, it's testing well. But it is nice here that you can't get in that much trouble, right? Relatively, and you can do it for you can trade a $6,000 vehicle. Like, oh, this is Qs. I'm sorry, but similar principle. You can trade it pretty low cost. Except you just have to worry about, especially if you're new, I think the assignment thing is going to cause some stress, unless you get out early enough.
It is. And this is, we talked about this yesterday. This is the name of the game. One of the things that's super interesting about options, from step back, if you're new to this, or even if you're old, it's good to remember this. Options are math, right? And what makes this is you have, when you're trading a stock, you have one Greek, more or less. You wouldn't even call it a Greek, but you do. You have delta, right? You have shares. Each share is a delta, right? Options, you have 5 inputs and a bunch of children from those inputs that work together as one giant, beautiful family. And
The Brady
those,
Bunch.
that's right. And because of that, it's a math person's dream. And what are we doing in this when you're back testing these type of strategies and you're building out a portfolio of these type of strategies? You're building out occurrences. So you find something that's going to work in the past and you place appropriate sized allocations towards it to get the max number of occurrences. And so you have a bunch of different strategies you end up running. Thus the portfolio feature, all those things. Well, all of our, if you just think about the small account challenge we've had so far, we have largely taken DCs and ran them with Qs and found winners, basically. This is an interesting one because this is a credit selling strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And credit selling strategies can be a very powerful tool in someone's an option trader's quiver, as they say. And so, yes, to Matt's point, it only trades 190 times. But if you had 10 of these type of things working together with DCs and flies and double diagonals and iron condors and all this stuff, well, you start to build your goal, at least, is to build a robust thing that even with a small amount of money, you can learn to win. And more than, when you're first learning, you're saying, like, I found this trade, I'm going to be, honey, like, we're going to have $400 billion in 3 years. So go ahead and get that credit card out. Well, no, what you want to do is you want to say, I need to learn to win. And I've been walking with newer traders who've been doing this, and they've had they had their first drawdown, and that was an experience for them. And they were like, this doesn't work. And we talked about that and said, like, what does it mean to have a drawdown? And, like, do you think anybody in life hasn't had a drawdown besides you? And do you think those successful people have never had a drawdown? And so you go through those emotions and you learn to do it. And I say all that to say, this is an interesting one because it's the same thing we talked about yesterday. It shows the premise that you can start with a smaller amount of capital than you think. And if you size it correctly, it can still have outsized returns.
Yeah. And I mean, just in that vein, I mean, this has 20% allocation with a 35% drawdown. So again, that drawdown is informed and is contingent on, defined by the funds and the allocation size. So you could change that allocation. That would impact the drawdown. I like to see people back testing at a higher allocation as one of the types of back tests they run, because you can really see the drawdown, because you look at these numbers and think, man, Lambo pre-order, as the chat says, Lambo pre-order. But at the same time, it's like a 35% drawdown is real. And most people have no idea and would not handle a true 35% drawdown. Some of them would.
Well, would you say this, Matt and Troy? Correct me if I'm wrong. When you're looking at 35% drawdown on that trade, to me, unless I'm missing something, that's not a big deal at all. Because if you look at 35, that's 35% of the credit, right?
It's 35. No, it's 35% of the total account overall, if you look at it over time.
So it's nothing to do with the credit. Okay.
Right. So this is the value of the funds over time. So if Troy goes on the summary, we can look and see when it is. And there, that's why, at a first glance, the MAR is a really helpful metric, because for that 35% drawdown, this back test got over 200% CAGR. So it's Troy. Can you go to the summary?
I'm confused. I'm looking at the summary.
Oh, it's still showing the trade log on our screen.
Oh, interesting. Okay, hold on.
But anyway, that relationship, if we change the allocation size to what if we're just doing a one lot, that would obviously you're going to crush the drawdown with a one lot. But if you're not trading at a one lot, again, we talk about this a lot, how to backtest and find the right way to backtest as far as funds of allocations. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and all of them have some value. So something like this, when you're backtesting a higher allocation, assuming most people aren't going to trade 20% of a strategy that can get absolutely destroyed, then it has value to see that drawdown.
Here's the
as Losing Streak says, it has the value because you also can see the reward as well. So
I was confused so it's the profit target. If you put a profit target, that's based on credit, right? You're trying to make 10% on this trade. It would be 10% of the credit, right?
Right.
The max drawdown is on the account.
Right. The max drawdown's on the account. Yeah. So the max drawdown is a zoomed out, larger perspective on how the trade did over time, and peak to trough, the drawdown was 35% at some point. We don't know when, but at some point during the time. But I mean, again, for that, you got a 70% win rate. I think it's pretty good, a decent capture rate, and you are getting a decent sample of trades. Jeff telling us we need to backtest longer than 2022. Listen, man, you can do that. You can backtest this back to 2013 if you want. A lot of people would strongly disagree with you, Jeff, and say that they just want to see things since dailies because the market has been so different with liquidity in the last 3 years versus the last 13 years. Yeah. So the good news is that if you want to backtest longer, you have that option. I will say, go ahead, Troy.
No, sorry, I keep interrupting you, please.
No, go.
I was just saying how I keep interrupting. The thing that's interesting too is you're doing starting capital of 5,000, but here's the question: would you be okay with, if you had 100,000 in your account, risking 5,000 on this type of trade? And I think a lot of people would say absolutely.
Yeah.
Because this type of trade, if risking 5%, suddenly it's a lot safer, right?
That's right.
And so the idea of small account is these are things that if you size correctly, in the past it's worked. I would have like Matt's exactly right. I would have if you truly have $5,000 in your account, a 30% drawdown is going to be tough. Now, also someone said in the chat, which is absolutely correct, kind of welcome to the game of investing, because if you hold Apple long enough, you're going to have a 30% drawdown.
Right.
Like if you hold anything, you're going to have a 30% drawdown. Yeah. So there's a lot of people who are buying gold this morning who are about to experience their first 30% drawdown in the next 16 months. That's my guess.
Yeah.
So it's not a question of that. The question is, with that type of return, a trade that has an outsized return, how much are you willing to lose and be okay with it? And I tell people this all the time: be willing to lose what you're willing to lose. And that's a Yoga Berry. Berry Yoga. What's her name? What's his name?
Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra. Yoga Berry.
Yogi Berra-ism.
The Yogi Berra-ism. But like, personally speaking, I got no problem losing 5,000. That's just me. I've got no problem losing 5,000 on this trade. But if I had 5,000 total, I might still love the trade. You would just size it different. And that's the thing with backtesting, where we always say, listen, run it with 1, run it with 100, run it with 100%, run it with 5%, run it with 1 contract, run it to where you can see all the variations of what it looks like. Right. I mean, again, final thing I'll say.
You have those options. You have optionality in your options testing.
Hey, like I I think it's, if I had 100K in the account and I put 5,000 of this, I wouldn't think twice about a 7% drawdown, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't even bother me at all. And so, anyway, I think it's an interesting. I love the small account challenge, not because it's necessarily for people that just have 5K, although I think it can be for that. I think it's cool because it's that. Plus, it's trades that it's showing you a different way to look at things than just like I must use SPX all the time in everything I do.
Right. You don't have
Yeah.
to.
Well, and that's where it goes to value and understanding the structure and the setup. So there's a lot of hot takes in the chat today about 0 DTE, how long people should backtest for, when the data became more valuable or less valuable. And the good news is you can try it all, whatever your little heart desires, back to 2013. So I think this structure, though, of selling, selling the at the money and buying the guts a little farther out, I think you could test that on a longer time frame for sure and get some value from it, even though there wasn't 0 DT every day, and even less so with Qs than with SPX.
And can I say one thing on, just for beginner traders, one thing that's important, really spend time in the trade log before you go live and really see what's this journey going to be like. Because even though beginners can say, okay, I took a quick look at the back test, I can handle the losers. Let me just tell you from, at least working with retail people for a long time, no, you can't, right? I don't see it. I don't see it. And any statistically, it's just the opposite. You can't handle it, even though you said, and I heard you say, yes, I'm going to stick with this. They're really saying, I'll stick with it I'll give it a shot, as long as it does well. That means you didn't, but with the back tester, you don't have an excuse. If you look at the trade log and see, okay, I can have 3 losers in a row or 4.
Yeah.
What's the journey going to be like? And put, as Matt and Troy are saying, put a small enough piece of your portfolio on the trade that you won't veer when you have a rough period. Because we all, it's very easy to say, if I have my first 10 trades automated, if they win, I'm John Wayne, I can handle the 11th trade losing. But what if your first 4 come out of the gate losing? Then you completely trash all the hard work you did in the back testing. So again, the key is sizing. Sizing is the answer to everything in life. And I think if you put a small enough piece in there, you might be able to weather it better. So
last thing I'll say is interesting. I mean, Rob, you can speak to this. Rob in the chat, shout out Rob of Rob and Maria fame. Rob, what's the, like, if you're betting $1,000 and you're betting it with a casino, what does the casino make? Like, what's the spread cost basically? What's the cost of doing business per $1,000? Does that make sense? You can put it in the chat. Heyo, he said hello. What is the like if you put 3%? Okay, so per $1,000, 3%. It's one of the trading Qs, trading liquid things. You think about slippage, you think about fees for the leverage you're getting. It's really, really cost efficient to trade options. We we're in communities all day where we're talking about like commissions and how expensive they are and things like that. But like the cost of doing business for options has never been cheaper.
That's right.
By far. Yeah. And market makers, it's interesting what Rob said. He said the house is making 3%. Market makers are making much less because they're happy getting the difference between the bid and ask, buying the bid, selling the ask. And those markets almost overlap. It's almost pick 'em. It's almost 2 bid at 2 bid. I mean, the fact that you can go in a $6,000 vehicle like SPX and get that kind of execution almost in the mid range, that mid is astounding to me because, again, I remember many years ago, commissions were through the roof. The bid asks were a lot wider. So you're not going to find a better time in the history of the exchanges.
I know these two guys that started this business, and they started like a manufacturing kind of they would sell basically like the parts you need to build stuff. And the cost was high, to run this stuff. You have to have inventory, you have to have all these things. Well, they sell the business, and one of the partners went into options, and the other guy the partner went into options is always telling the other guy, like, hey, get your head out of your butt. This is the place to be. Selling options and owning land in East Tennessee. I mean, that's the thing, now I'm speaking a little too personally here, but this is who you are if you're listening. Get in options land,
It's what all the cool kids are doing. I mean, I was just thinking about the whole commission thing, and there are, and even in the chat today, somebody asking about the commissions on that test. This is just my personal opinion. I may get flamed for this, but I have never seen the commissions between different brokers make the difference between somebody being successful and not successful. Is that a hot take?
Listen,
is that too hot of a take for 927?
Well, people are going to say that we're owned by Charles Schwab. People are going to say that's exactly what Schwab would say.
We are not. But and nobody wants to pay more than they need to. Like, I pick up a pizza every month at Speedway to use my free rewards. So I get it. But with trading, there's so many things. There's so many parts to the building the strategies, execution, and the mental side of it. The way I think about that whole fees and commissions thing is it's just the cost of doing business.
The only time I've ever gotten really mad at commissions, to be honest, is when I'm on tilt and I've traded 60 ES futures options in a day to get neutral all day. And I look at the end of the day and I broke even, but I paid $1,200 in commissions.
Right.
Like that. Yeah. Those are the days.
Greg is saying your edge should not depend on fees.
But I would encourage, I would encourage people, especially as you're trading more and you have you might have a halfway decent account, pick up the horn, pick up the phone, call the bro. There's room there. There's payment for order flow. There's room, right? SPX is whatever, $1.25 with all fees for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I really, I've seen it. You can get down to 50, 40 cents just because, you think, and then sure, they'll give you the car salesman thing on the phone. Like, oh, you're killing us. How do you expect us to feed our kids? But you know what?
You'll be all right.
They're getting good money from payment for order flow. They can do it. It's just that, you know what? They're used to higher margins. They just don't want to give that up. That's all it is, right? I mean, that's all it is. So, I mean, I would encourage people. And the other thing, forget commissions. The other, slippage is more important. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Rob 100%. Slippage is much more important. The other thing to worry about, let's say you have a decent amount of well, I was going to say people do different things these days, but people never look into like long stock interest. What are they giving you on your idle cash? Now,
for
sure. Move that idle cash into other stuff, but that's a
whole, we should talk about
that. That's a different discussion.
Yeah. Another day, but shout out Amy, because she talks about that in the Discord a lot.
Yeah,
so
we can.
Shout out Amy. Yeah. But anyway, market just opened.
We went hit the bell.
Market got some trading to do. Got some commissions to pay, baby. We'll see you back tomorrow. Have a good day.